Hello, everyone. Thank you all for being here. First, I want to wish everyone a happy Easter. Thank you all for being here. I want to continue our conversation about trying to figure out for ourselves where we are energetically by self-assessment and trying to have inner conversation. The way out is within. To go deep within our soul and to try to figure out emotionally where we may be and what things may represent for us. For almost 2 weeks now, I've been going deeper and deeper, silently trying to assess and discover the feelings and the sensations that I am discovering in my inner conversation. And what I've been noticing for me more and more is that there is a feeling or a sensation of not feeling safe. It's very hard to say exactly, but it felt like I have not felt safe in a while. And I was not consciously aware of that emotion. I was not consciously aware that I was not feeling safe. That although I'm pretending to the world and to myself that everything is okay, and I'm carrying on as if everything is okay, everything is fine, everything is fine, everything is okay, I'm feeling well. People ask you, how are you doing? I'm doing great, I'm doing fine. But in my core, things that are going on in the world are making me feel unsafe. I can tell you there are lots of things, simple thing I can talk about for a moment. The banking crisis that happened recently, as a continuation of that, although not publicized in our news, today was launched by Russia, China, Turkey, South Africa, India, and Brazil, something called BRIC. It's a different banking system to rival the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. They have $100 billion in asset. And they're trying to dethrone the dollar as a currency and create their own thing. It was announced a few days ago. Today it was launched. So again, there is a sense, and maybe ultimately it's going to be for the better good of humanity, but the transit feels like I'm walking on quicksand. And there's a sense, again, that I'm not safe. And it's one thing, but there's a plethora, as you know, of things like this that are going on in the world that seem somehow distant and not connected, but giving the fact that there's a pile of them that are happening all simultaneously. It sips into your link to the collective unconscious and begin to create internal chaos. I have been feeling for several months when I go in my query and meditation with the Dantian, that there is strange sensation in that part of my body. Although initially not clearly identified, not clearly understood, not clearly, I simply felt discomfort. I simply felt things that were moving, things that seems to be dynamic, let's put it this way. They were not steady and localized discomfort, but they were more mobile and more dynamic. And I begin to realize that something isn't there. And it took me a while to identify the feeling that I was feeling, which is you're not safe. You're feeling unsafe. And I'm going to guide you in the end in a meditation. And it's a updated version of the monadic merger that we did over 3 years ago, almost. But done with a slight modification, because as I was querying and I couldn't get an answer, I got guidance to make a slight change. And the moment I did, I was able to identify what the issue was for me. Okay. I was able to comprehend it better and to understand it better. So I'm going to guide you into the same process in the end for the last 45 minutes for us to kind of like figure out what this is, or if it's a different or other emotion shows up for you. I do realize as well, there are people and individuals and relationships that I have in my life that are also making me unsafe or feeling unsafe. Not making me unsafe, but making me feel unsafe. And I need to distance myself from these relationships. There are other relationships that I have in my life that are making me safe as well. And I need to pursue and solidify and nourish these relationships. Okay? There are old and new people that I'm meeting that I find that are nourishing me, and that are giving me support, and I need to allow these relationships to flourish and to become stronger. So it's not a one-way street, you understand? And the things that I cannot change, like as it relates to, let's say, what's happening with the planetary monetary system and banking and etc. That's something I cannot change. It's too big for me. It's much bigger than me. I have to surrender to God. I can't take this as a burden, as a responsibility, as something to make it become a point of agitation for me. I have to learn how to let go of what I cannot control. I have to choose. And for the relationship, which is things that I can change, I can let go of individuals that I feel are not contributing to my safety because they are too negative and they're bringing conspiracy theory stuff all the time to me. They're agitating my consciousness more than anything else. I need to distance. I'm not going to destroy the connection or sever them, but I need to distance myself because it's not helping me right now. Okay? Whereas relationships that are more nourishing, I need to expand upon them and allow them to give it fertilizer and sunlight and water and allow them to grow. So that's where I am right now, and that's what I'm trying to bring to your attention, that in some ways or not, you may experience something like this. And if you are indeed feeling either unsafe or they are, again, you got to pick what you there's a 50%. There's always something that you and I need to do in order for God to meet us halfway. So the things that I cannot change, the things that are acts of God, whether it's a climate change event or something that's happening that's so big that I cannot change it, I have to surrender it to God. Whereas, other situations that are more manageable, that are more connected to me and my responsibility and my own doing, and the things that I can control, I can take responsibility and I can make these changes so that I can settle that part of my dantian and allow myself to feel more aligned. The kind of alignment that I felt, connection to neutrality, the idea that I was so anchored and grounded in spirit that, I walked with God basically almost all the time. I felt so connected to spirit that it was so powerful and so strong that it was something that I took for being certain. That and now, because of the sense of, and this is since the pandemic, I'm since 2020, March of 2020, 2020, I have not been feeling safe. And I didn't realize this consciously. I'm now acknowledging consciously, this is the state of being. It's not just survival, but it's a feeling, it's a very specific frequency, which is, I am not safe. Okay? And keeping that in mind, I need to foster activity, relationships, connection, relationship to other people, to God, that will take me back into the certainty of knowing that I'm supported and that I'm not in danger. Because when you're saying, or consciously or unconsciously, that you're in danger, you're allowing your adrenaline to begin to produce peptide. And that adrenaline that's constantly scanning in the background over time will give you adrenaline fatigue and could cause ultimately disease and kidney failures, or send you into a psychiatric ward, or having you to have to take some sort of sedative, or some sort of, because you're in panic all the time, or you're manic depressive, or be diagnosed with some sort of dysfunction. So I have to manage it in a completely different way. I'm daily meditating, as you know, and therefore I'm managing that, some of that. But I think the deeper thing is the inner conversation that I'm having with that part of me, and acknowledging, first of all, that the discomfort that I'm feeling, that's the feeling that's there, is the first step. Okay, that's what it's trying to teach me. You're not feeling safe, and there's a need for you to feel safe. And how do I get now to that, to meet that need? And I'm sharing with you some of that's the path that I've been following, which is or rather distance certain relationships, nourish, and because I basically went in a cocoon. I'm not being socializing. I basically went into a cocoon again because I didn't feel anything was safe for me. And since we're a social animal, you can only maintain that kind of fight or flight, scanning and searching for safety for only so long. And beyond a certain point, you're gonna be exhausted, because those kind of hormones are very draining to the rest of our entire metabolism. Any questions, any comments that you may have?
I would just, Pierre, ask about things that you cannot just release or surrender, particularly in my case, the grieving process. It presents emotional charge that shoots the adrenaline, I'm sure, into the body. And it's not constant, but it's frequent. So how do you manage that?
Grief is, as you know, I've said this before, is complicated. because it has its own timing. And part of it also connects to, well, you have to figure out a way to create. You will never replace what you lost, okay? But there has to be a point where there is an acceptance that there's nothing you can do to change this. So although there are 5 stages to grief, but we go to multiple of them simultaneously. Sometimes it's depression connected to anger, or, you know, and not accepting completely what occurred. So it's a question of trying to identify what we're feeling at the moment, if it's 1 or 2 or 3 feelings. And then once you recognize the feeling, half of the bite of the emotion is gone. It's like the sting is not the same. And then beyond that, it's to keep acknowledging, I'm depressed now. I'm feeling angry now. I'm feeling abandoned now. Whatever it is that you're feeling, acknowledging it. And as you keep acknowledging it, it gets less and less. And the timing is different for everybody. Some people take 2 years, a year, 3 years, whatever. Other people, maybe 20 years. It depends to the degree of attachment that you have. So the key is to try to figure out a way to realize what happened and accept it. The acceptance is the key, because that's the key to letting go of the grief. It's acceptance. I would do prayer to all of the Holy Assembly, asking them, when you're feeling the grief, asking them to help you find the acceptance of what you cannot change. You know the Serenity Prayer from, it's used a lot in AA. I'll send you a copy of it. Okay, I'll email you a copy.
Help me to change what I can, and
right.
Something to that effect.
Yeah.
Let go of what I cannot, or something.
To accept the thing that I cannot change.
Yes, yes.
It really is very helpful. Very, very helpful. You can Google it and find it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Serenity Prayer is very good to help you go into the acceptance. Because otherwise you will, you know, some of us like to marinate on certain things and hold them there. Because although it's painful, but there's a degree of comfort in the pain. But the acceptance is saying that this is a done deal. Everything in the universe changes. I'm accepting that I cannot change this, and I'm moving. I have to move forward. So the Serenity Prayer, I would suggest, is something that could help you quite a bit.
Okay, thank you. This is something that I've been making good progress with, I think, but there is, in my mind, that risk of the adrenaline shooting in the body to create other issues that I would like to prevent, and I can't just release it. So I'll try that process you're suggesting.
Yes, I'm trying to find it. Give me a second.
That's okay. I can find it. I know what you mean.
Yeah, I can say it.
Yes, go ahead, please. Thank you.
God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. That's the short version.
Mm.
I like that.
Yep. Yep.
Thank you, Esther.
Yep. And if you can repeat that every time, you know, there's a trigger, there's a flare-up, it will help you a lot. Because what you need to move into is the acceptance. I understand it's very dynamic. And there's not logical. You may go into the acceptance for 2 hours, and then the next thing you know, there's a flare up that takes you back to depression. Some memory, something triggers, somebody says something shows up on the screen that reminds you, you see something that reminds, and then it triggers, right? And it's okay. That's part of the process. It's fluidic, it's dynamic. But if you keep repeating, go back to the prayer and keep repeating it over, it's like saying, please forgive me, I love you, and I'll go over and over again. It will move you into the acceptance.
We'll do that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So the monadic merger, I want to talk a little bit about it now. It's just a refresher. You've done this before. I'll just refresh your memory. And as a way to kind of re-cement what we're going to be doing during the meditation. I have always talked about it as if we were sitting, imagine that you're sitting on a clock. If I were to teach this class again, I will rephrase it this. Because I'm using the clock analogy as a way, because there are 12 sections to it, that you're sitting in the clock and 12 o'clock is in front of you, 6 o'clock is behind you, 3 o'clock is over your left shoulder, 9 o'clock the left, and so on and so forth for the other hands that are in between. But I just want to say here that it's not a clock. It's a 12-pointed mandala. And a mandala is a symbol of complete consciousness. It's universal symbol. Carl Gustav Jung. It's used a lot in Buddhism, in Asia, but it represents the totality of being. But in Carl Gustav Jung did a lot of analysis in his psychoanalytical studies, talk a lot about mandala as a symbol for what he called individuation, which is the complete integration of self. So what I want to bring forth as a conversation today is a reminder of the process. You have to imagine that you are nothing more than one aspect of a collective of 144. If you can imagine for a moment, I have to look for it. Give me a second. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to share my screen with you. If you can imagine for a moment that you're in the clock in that purple center there, and there are 12 spoke that extends out from you. 12 o'clock is in front of you, 6 o'clock is behind you, 3 o'clock is to your left, to your right is 9 o'clock, etc. So you're going to start on what's in front of you. You're going to imagine that you're not who you think you are. In the process of descent from God, from the fifth dimension, we broke down and shattered into pieces. We broke down first into 12. Every time you go down a dimensional scale, you scattered into 12. This is universal and dimensional higher mathematics, it's a factor of 12. So you break down into 12. So what happened from where you were in the purple, you broke down into 12 pieces. So there is a oversoul or Christed over self body that exists at 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc., back to 11. So there are 12 fragments of yourself that are called oversoul that exists in the fourth dimension, the purple being 5D. Then from 4D into 3D, each of the oversouls break down into another 12. So that the one that's in front of you at 12 o'clock breaks down into 12 soul extensions, like a pie that has 12 slices. And the one at 1 o'clock also has 12 soul extension, et cetera, to give you 12 times 12, 144 pieces. Now, if you happen to be, and you are just one of the slices, you could pick any one of them, but in this example, we're using 6 o'clock as a representative, and you happen to be just one slice. Although you have no conscious cognitive awareness of these other pieces, you're connected to all of them because they're all you. And they may exist in dimension of time and space, incarnate or disincarnate. There could be a piece of you that's living, in South America, one in Africa, one in Norway, one, and the rest could be in dimensional existence somewhere else, and et cetera, et cetera. So whichever the case may be, on other planets, and when you do this monadic merger, which is really a mandala, you're going to call upon all of these pieces to reassemble and reconnect to you. And it's a very specific yoga and process. And when you do it, it will reconnect you. So you begin first by calling upon you're going to call upon, this is the entire sutra. It's the wrong exercise. I'm gonna share with you something else. Give me a minute. I'll just do it because I can't find the document right now. So what we're going to be doing is that you're gonna close your eyes and you're gonna go into meditation with yourself. You imagine that you're sitting there, you're facing 12 o'clock, and you're gonna say, I ask for complete and total merger with my 12 Christed over self body and the 144 Christed aspects of me that compose this. I am that I am. And then you're going to acknowledge each direction of the mandala. I ask for complete and total merger with my Christed over self body that exists at 12 o'clock. Then right after that, you're going to say, please forgive me. I love you and I let go. The reason you're saying, please forgive me, is that you were disconnected with that piece. And for whatever reason, you're under the illusion that the part that you're in that gives you physical, the shell that you're in is a totality. And there could have been even antagonistic relationship to your own aspect of yourself, thinking that you were the cheese, you were everything egocentrically, and you never acknowledged that this part was contributing to the totality of the monad. And again, the word monad is a Greek word that means one. So you're going to ask, please forgive me, I love you, and I let go. asking that part of you for forgiveness for any competitiveness that may have existed between you and in it. And then I ask for a complete and total merger with my Christ itself, which is this piece, and with the 12 Christed aspects of me, the 12 soul extension. But you're not just calling the soul extension as they exist now. This is important. You're calling for their Christed version, because there's no time and space. You want everything to come in a Christed form. Because if indeed you're incarnated and you have pieces of yourself that are incarnated on Earth or somewhere or in other dimensions, on other planets, I can guarantee you a lot of them are not ascended. They're trying to figure it out. They're trying to recreate the connection so that the fragmentation no longer exists. So for them to do this, they are struggling. And if you ask for a connection to them that is not Christed, you're going to take on their karma. So you have to ask for their Christed version. I ask for a complete and total merger with my Christed self, which is the oversoul self, and the 12 Christed aspects of me that compose this. I am that I am. Then now the next piece, because each one of these fragments is connected to a higher virtue, an emotion of some kind. We only understand 5, maybe 6 basic emotions. We survive by attacking, by fighting, by running, defending. We may understand love to a degree, but all of the other, what we call higher emotion, like mercy, compassion, acceptance, and all that, they are more intellectual derivatives. They are not emotion that we viscerally understood. Those Christed aspects of ourselves, each one of these various parts that are in the mandala, exists in a higher emotion. And what we're going to ask through this meditation is for each of these higher emotions to teach us the virtue, the wisdom, and the power that they know. So after saying this, you're going to ask for them to share with me the virtue, the wisdom, and the power that you know. And we're going to wait energetically for that fragment that's in front of you to upload into your body a feeling or sensation so that that information is now communicated into your physical body. And when that happens, you begin to feel something. Over time, whatever it is that you're feeling will eventually merge into an actual, sometimes it's a sentence, sometimes it's a word, or it could be merging or creating an awareness of an actual new feeling and emotion that you thought you knew, but you understood only intellectually. Whether it's mercy, whether it's gratitude, whether it is compassion, whether it's acceptance, all of a sudden, there is an actual visceral thing in your body that resonates almost like your body shaking orgasmically with that feeling in it. Okay? And each of these directions holds a different emotion. So at every direction of the clock, once we're done with the first one, I become aware of my Christed over self body, which is this part that exists at 1 o'clock. Please forgive me. I love you, and I let go. Now I ask for complete and total merger with my Christed self and with the 12 Christed aspects of me that compose this. Please share and merge with me the virtues, the wisdom, and the power that you know. Because there is power. I want you to understand something. There is a difference between force and power. There is power in mercy. There is power in compassion. There is power in gratitude. But it is not force. It is not about a blunt thing that you dominate someone with. So these emotions come with the virtue itself, the emotion. Then there is a wisdom that it has in it. And the wisdom is combined with the power. And to describe it in the way William Gray described power, he said, power is wisdom used rightly. So the wisdom that exists, let's say, in mercy, when used rightly, it creates a very specific kind of power. And again, that part with the last part is what I call spiritual intelligence. And the mechanic, this yoga, is teaching us how to do this by connecting at every soul extension, at every hands of this mandala, connecting us to the virtues, the wisdom, and the power. Now, you may feel something in some instances. You may not have a way to describe what you're feeling. This is the way I experience this all the time, is that the feeling is so extraordinary. I don't have a way to describe it because it's so big and so expensive that I don't have a tool or a way to do it. And I would continue to the next piece, the next piece, the next piece. And over time of doing this on a daily basis, suddenly one day there's a breakthrough. And one of the emotion unpacks. And I now understand them viscerally because I now have an uploaded version from my soul extension, my Christ soul extension into me. I now understand something. I remember, not just understand, I remember. Because initially, when we were in a monadic state in 5D, all of these fragments were inside of us. We have deconstructed and fragmented. And it's the reassembly process that we're talking about now. It's putting Humpty Dumpty back together again. Any questions, any comments that you may have?
Here you said 5D.
Yes. Yes.
The return of all of the aspects of me and the oversouls extends right through the maximum dimension 12 or above, right? It doesn't stop at 5D, obviously, but that's when it first reassembles when we're in 5D.
Yes. Okay. So the best way to describe this is that 5D gives you planetary ascension. Okay? Beyond 5D, 60 and beyond. So let's say, for example, tomorrow, a year from now, all of us have reassembled the monadic family. And we are now entered into the 5D. The new identity that we have, where all of these collective awareness and virtues are now integrated within us, inside this mandala, what's going to happen is that the next initiation is that monad that's now reassembled in 5D is now a solar extension, like this piece, in a solar monad. Okay?
It just keeps going on.
It keeps going on. Once the solar monad is reassembled, identity is reassembled, that solar monad becomes again a soul extension in the galactic monad. We fragmented multiple times. you know, it's like a ping pong machine. We hit many, we tilted, we broke apart all over the place. Okay?
Yeah. Is there an infinite number of monads then?
I think Dr. Stone calculated a number at one point, but to my mind, I think there's planetary, solar, galactic, universal, multi-universal, cosmic. If you can do the math for all of them 144, it will give you an idea of how many pieces that are broken down for you and your own spiritual family. Multiply that by the number of people that are alive, that will give you an idea.
That's a lot of merging.
Yes. But like everything else, it's the first step that's difficult. Once you have accomplished monadic merger and you're in 5D, everything else is it's like walking. None of us think about walking anymore as long as our body can hold us together, or chewing or breathing. It just becomes completely natural. You don't think about it anymore. The remembering on how to do this is the first part, is the complicated one. The moment that happens and we move through the process, it no longer is an issue. We can begin to do this on a continual basis.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions or comments? Again, I don't want you to think of a clock, because I was using the clock analogy for too long, and I pushed it so hard that when I begin to bring the mandala, people kind of got, what do you mean it's a mandala? It's not a real clock. It's actually a mandala. And if you look at mandalas that the Tibetan, in Tibetan Buddhism, they are exactly similar to this. I'm using modern term to make it easier for us to comprehend. But it's a mandala. In fact, at every direction, when you connect with the monad, there is a Buddha and a Dakini. There are all kinds of celestial beings that are on with your monad that are trying to help you find reconciliation. Again, you have to remember, we're asking for all these things to come in their Christed form. In other words, their ascended form. Because you don't want to take this, there's enough problem for you to deal with your own karma. If you're the piece that's here, you don't want to start absorbing the karma of everybody else and another 11 people, and then 144, no, 143 other. You don't want to do that. That's a big mistake. But since the time is an illusion, your actual Christ itself exists. That vibration and that frequency is in the universe. You're calling for their Christed version to come to you. But you have to ask for it. If you don't ask for it, it's not going to come by itself. If you ask for just the soul extension to come in, the soul extension, any soul extension will come at any point in their spiritual development. But if you're asking for the Christed fragments to come, the Christed version will come. And it will eventually give you the virtue that it holds. The virtue is ultimately a version of the power. But the virtue has a wisdom, almost like a lesson that you need to learn how to use rightly. And when you do this, you have mastered and remembered completely how to use that higher virtue. Any other questions or comments? Now, here's the thing. What Janice was asking before about, the 5D going all the way back to God and all the very higher dimensions, etc. So it's true enough that we when we reassemble, again, the fragmentation is a dream. It's an illusion. None of us have ever fragmented from God. We're dreaming that we fell. This is from a different perspective. We're dreaming that we fell, but when we wake up from the dream, we will integrate all the lessons that we have learned. In other words, the entire descent and the reassembly back, all the struggle, all the what appear to us as years and eons of struggle in different dimensions of reality. We will integrate everything together. And when we bring all of that knowledge back as a cosmic monad, re-entering the body of God, what appear to be re-entering the body of God, we will have been brought back with us the entire wisdom of the descent and eventual ascent. And when we bring that back, we ourselves will become God ourselves and co-creative partner, and we will have added into it, because God is the unmoved mover. And in that field, only potential for existence exists, potential for all kinds of manifestation exists. There is no actual existence. There is no actual experience, only potential for experience. The descent, the dream, allow for, and the ascent, the in and out breath of God, the exhale and the inhale, allow for things to move away from that source and to re-enter again and reintegrate. And in the reintegration, we bring back the journey, the entire journey. And when we bring back that journey, we expand what was a potential into knowledge. And God grows and gets bigger.
Yeah, would I be right in then saying that rather than wake up from the dream that we are separated and fragmented from God, that it is our destiny and it is God's plan that we continue the dream to bring back to him that wisdom and knowledge?
It's a beautiful way to see it, yes. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And the beauty of it is that when you do it, it depends on the perspective. You can see it as, you know, as a victim, or you can see it as an empowerment, right? Mm-hmm. It depends on how you want to see it. It's not you being a victim, it's an empowerment. It's a way for God to expand, to grow. Now, if you think of it that in, you know, we are nothing more than one the habitable planet, what they call exoplanet, with 8 billion people, and we're just a medium-sized planet. Now imagine that, you know, just in our galaxy alone, there are over 1 billion habitable planet. And there are, according now to the new telescope, the Webb telescope, the new one that they just had out, that's giving us much more detail. A lot of area we thought were empty, so are filled with galaxies. So the universe is densely populated, much densely populated than we thought. So if you can multiply that by 500 billion galaxies, you have a sense of how many fragments of God have descended. They are not all human, but they are nonetheless sentient. And because of this, we will all find our way back into that uncreated portion, which is the potential for manifestation. God is literally expanding and growing. And this is why God is infinity times infinity, because that process is perpetually renewing. It's not creation started at one point and it ends at one point. it's a continual process because there's continually fragments that are leaving source, potential for manifestation that are going out, that are returning back endlessly. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, thank you. It then is a truism that there are infinite number of chips or pieces of knowledge and wisdom, because by now in the history of creation, how many untold numbers have returned to the body of God in this reassembling of the monad through all of the different levels, how many infinite experiences then have been brought back to God. And yet, amongst that huge number, there are more infinite chips, as I call it, using an electronic term, that are to be added.
Yes. And the way to understand it is that God has endless potential inside of itself. And those potential need to experience this in and out breath. And it's an endless thing. And more to the point, to explain what I'm trying to say is this, Janice. Each one of us is a unique manifestation of those endless potentials. No two are the same. Like how I understand gratitude and integrate it when my soul extension bring it to me will not be how you integrate it. Because your path of descent and your path of your ascent is unique to Janice. And therefore, what you bring back into source will be completely unique to you, to your experience.
An infinite capacity then.
Yes, 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 absolutely. And it's because of this, each one of us being unique manifestation. And the journey that I take, the choices I'm making moment by moment, no one else on the planet, no one else in the entire universe is doing the same thing. Because I'm doing it in a certain way, how I integrate it, when and how, and it creates an entire storyline, entire journey, and an entire knowing that's so completely unique to me and my experience. So when I return, I enrich that to that giant collective.
Reminds me of a Star Trek episode.
Yes, yes.
With V'ger, did you see that one? V'ger was this computer that was sent out into exploring the universe to bring back information to the creator, which was mankind at that time, but it's since lost that connection back home to mankind. And it had collected so much information that it needed to download it to the creator, and it could not find a connection. Did you see that episode? It was really interesting.
This is Star Trek. Which one? Voyager? No, not Voyager.
Well, that was Voyager was the name of the ship, but the O got obliterated, so it was V'ger.
Yeah. I remember now. Okay, got it. Yes. So because there was another similar thing that in Star Trek, the new one of the new one, Discovery, and that one, there's a similar storyline about all this data being uploaded, and they found the ship, one of the space, and they uploaded it into the computer system, into the ship. And there's the vast amount of data and information. So it's incredible what the potential of what I'm saying now, and how circular this loop is, and how the infinity loop closes on itself, and more potential, And because of this unique way that I'm going to, of my journey, I'm bringing back, you're bringing back, everyone is bringing back, we will each enrich the God Collective in a way with actual experience, not potential, but with actual experience. And that value will add to the collective awareness we call God. Through us, God is learning.
Mm.
Now, one of the things that I want you to do, I had said to you before that when you're doing this exercise and you're sitting on this chair in the middle of this mandala, to imagine at some point that it was around your head or your shoulder, that the circle was around your head and your shoulder, and that you're seeing them in front of you. And the way I experience it, typically, it feels like a giant column at 12 o'clock, and then at 1 o'clock, at 2 o'clock, etc. But I want you to, and this is where it connects. This is the guidance that I received in the past 2 weeks that has allowed me to understand the lack of safety issue. I was guided to bring the circle to my solar plexus level, my belly button or seat. Instead of seeing it at the shoulder, imagine that when you're asking for the crested over self body at 12 o'clock, imagine that it exists around your belly button, a little bit out from you, not at your shoulder level. And as I did this and went around the clock, it was a completely different experience because it was connected to the solar plexus chakra, which is where, when I'm doing the dantian, that's where I'm going. It created awareness in the dantian zone. It's like doing a dantian while I'm doing a monadic merger. It's doing both things at the same time. And I was able to understand and to comprehend and to see things that I didn't see before. And that enriched me and caused me to have a tremendous amount of insight. Now, it took several weeks. I'm still unpacking. I'm not done. I'm still doing it. I'm still unpacking. But now I'm very aware of the lack of safety issue. In other words, whereas before I was pushing them in the back and pretending everything is okay, now every time I'm triggered by something that makes me feel unsafe, I am immediately aware of it. Because the monadic merger brings it immediately to my attention. You're feeling unsafe now. And then I immediately know, okay, I gotta walk away from this. What is the management tool I'm using? Is it something I cannot control? If I cannot control, serenity prayer, give me the acceptance. If it's something that I can control, is it somebody or individual, or sometimes people send you email, videos, etc. You have to put a distance. You have to say, I'm not ready for this right now. Right? And maybe that's what you do at this point. And then for the relationship that I need to maintain or I need to nourish, let me nourish those so that I go more into the acceptance. Let me connect with people who are on the same frequency as I am. Let me create positive and safe experiences for me. Let me be in a relationship with people that make me feel safe. Any questions, any comments you may have? Okay, let us take a 5-minute break, a water break, and then we're gonna do a monadic merger, but this time you're gonna imagine that the mandala is around, below your belly button, around you. 5 minutes.
Yeah, just a word about that graphic. So it's not part of the class teaching, but you mentioned a mandala. If you have a mandala image and would like me to combine,
Okay, I have several mandala pictures. I will send them to you, okay?
or would that be useful to you to?
Yeah, I do have a couple of mandala pictures. I'll send them to you, okay? If you can integrate it, it would be wonderful.
Okay, and once I see the mandala, if I have any questions, we can just.
We can talk about it, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
5 minutes. Take a very deep and slow breath. And as you inhale and exhale deeply and slowly, allow the universal life force that permeates everything to enter into your lungs. Keep breathing deeply and slowly. And let your soul and your awareness drop in the middle of your chest. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. Realize that you can perceive energies 360 degrees all around you. As your mind and your heart sync with each other. Keep breathing deeply and slowly. And notice what you noticed. I become aware of my monad and mighty I am presence. I ask for a complete and total merger with my Christ itself and with the 12 Christed aspects of me that compose this. I am that I am. Please share and merge with me the virtues, the wisdom, and the power that you know. I become aware of my Christed over-self body that exists at 12 o'clock. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. I ask for complete and total merger with my Christed self and with the 12 Christed aspects of me that compose this. I am that I am. Please share and merge with me the virtues, the wisdom, power that you know. I become aware of my Christed over self body that exists at 1 o'clock. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. I ask for a complete and total merger with my Christed self and with the 12 Christed aspects of me that compose this. I am that I am. Please share and merge with me the virtues, the wisdom, and the power that you know. I become aware of my Christed with a self body that exists at 2 o'clock. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. I ask for a complete and total merger with my Christed self and with the 12 Christed aspects of me that compose this. I am that I am. Please share and merge with me the virtues, the wisdom, and the power that you know. I become aware of my Christed over self body that exists at 3 o'clock. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. I ask for a complete and total merger with my Christed self and with the 12 Christed aspects of me that compose this. I am that I am. Please share and merge with me the virtues, the wisdom, and the power that you know. I become aware of my Christed over self body that exists at 4 o'clock. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. I ask for a complete and total merger with my Christed self and with the 12 Christed aspects of me that compose this. I am that I am. Please share and merge with me the virtues, the wisdom, and the power that you know. I become aware of my Christed over self body that exists at 5 o'clock. Please forgive me. I love you and I let go. I ask for a complete and total merger with my Christed self and with the 12 Christed aspects of me that compose this. I am that I am. Please share and merge with me the virtues, the wisdom, and the power that you know. I become aware of my Christed over self body that exists at 6 o'clock. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. I ask for a complete and total merger with my Christed self and with the 12 Christed aspects of me that compose this. I am that I am. Please share and merge with me the virtues, the wisdom, and the power that you know. I become aware of my Christed over self body that exists at 7 o'clock. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. I ask for a complete and total merger with my Christed self and with the 12 Christed aspects of me that compose this. I am that I am. Please share and merge with me the virtues, the wisdom, and the power that you know. I become aware of my Christed over self body that exists at 8 o'clock. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. I ask for a complete and total merger with my Christ itself and with the 12 Christed aspects of me that compose this. I am that I am. Please share and merge with me the virtues, the wisdom, and the power that you know. I become aware of my Christed over self body that exists at 9 o'clock. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. I ask for a complete and total merger with my Christ itself and with the 12 Christed aspects of me that compose this. I am that I am. Please share and merge with me the virtues, the wisdom, and the power that you know. I become aware of my Christ over self body that exists at 10 o'clock. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. I ask for a complete and total merger with my Christ itself and with the 12 Christed aspects of me that compose this. I am that I am. Please share and merge with me the virtues, the wisdom, and the power that you know. I become aware of my Christ over self body that exists at 11 o'clock. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. I ask for a complete and total merger with my Christ itself and with the 12 Christed aspects of me that compose this. I am that I am. Please share and merge with me the virtues, the wisdom, and the power that you know. I become aware of my monad and mighty I am presence. I ask for a complete and total merger with my 12 Christed over self bodies and the 144 Christed aspects of me that compose me. I am that I am. From every point of my being, consciousness in infinity times infinity. Prana, rise. Give me conscious immortality. I am the whole, complete, and immortal presence that exists everywhere. Take a very deep and slow breath. And whenever you feel ready, you can open your eyes. How you all feeling?
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you.
Any kind of insight or awareness that came through your dantian area, your solar plexus, and sacral chakra area, you should pay attention to.
Mm.
Okay, because when you're doing the merger with at that level of that chakra, it's the grand cross marriage. And because your awareness is there, it will begin to reveal to you currently what may be scaring you.
Okay.
Okay, and so that, in other words, you have to find a strategy. Again, for the things you cannot change, serenity, acceptance. For the thing you can change, move forward to change them. All right? I want to thank all of you for listening to me tonight. If you're listening to us on Patreon, we want to thank you for your participation and support. Like this video on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to talking to you next week. Sending you my deepest love. Blessings, everyone. Good night.
Bobby, look for my email, please. Okay. Love you all. Good night.
Good night.